the days that we have seen. Do you remember, since we lay all night in the windmill in St. George's Field?
No more of that, Master Sherlock.
'Twas a merry night. Is Jane Nightwork alive?
She lives, Master Sherlock.
Doth she hold her own well?
Old. Old, Master Sherlock.
Oh, no, she must be old. She cannot choose but be old. Certain she's old, and had Robin Nightwork, my old Nightwork, before I came to Clement's Inn. Jesus, the days that we have seen. Ah, Sir John, said I well?
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Master Robert Sherlock.
That we have, that we have, that we have. In faith, Sir John, we have. Jesus, the days that we have seen.
King Richard II was murdered. Some say at the command of the Duke Henry Bolingbroke in Pomfret Castle on February the 14th, 1400. Before this, the Duke Henry had been crowned king, though the true heir to the realm was Edmund Mortimer, who was held prisoner by the Welsh rebels. The new king was not hasty to purchase his deliverance. And to prove this, Mortimer's cousins, the Percys, came to the king unto Windsor. There came Northumberland, his son Henry Percy, called Hotspur, and Worcester, whose purpose was ever to procure malice and set things in a broil.
Shall our coffers then be emptied to redeem a traitor home?
My liege.
No, on the barren mountain let him starve. For I shall never hold that man my friend, whose tongue shall ask me for 1 penny cost to ransom home revolted Mortimer.
Revolted Mortimer? He never did fall off by sovereign liege, but by the chance of war.
My blood hath been too cold and temperate, unapt to stir at these indignities, and you have found me. For accordingly you tread upon my patience.
Our house, my sovereign liege, little deserves the scourge of greatness to be used on it. And that same greatness, too, which our own hands have helped to make so portly.
Worcester, get thee gone. For I do see danger and disobedience in thine eye.
My lord.
Henceforth, let me not hear you speak of Mortimer, or you shall hear in such a kind from me as will displease you.
My good lord, hear me.
My lord Northumberland, we license your departure with your son.
Speak of Mortimer. Soon I will speak of him, and let my soul want mercy if I do not join with him.
Hear you, cousin, a word.
But hark you, uncle, did not King Richard then proclaim my brother Edmund Mortimer heir to the crown?
Did myself did hear it.
Nay, then I cannot blame his cousin king that wished him on the barren mountain.
Good cousin.
Shall it with shame be spoken in these days, or fill up chronicles in time to come, that men of your nobility and power did gauge them both in an unjust behalf, as both of you, God pardon it, have done, to put down Richard,
that sweet, lovely rose and plant this thorn, this canker Bolingbroke. Peaceful heavens, methinks it were an easy leap to pluck bright honor from the pale-faced moon, or dive into the bottom of the deep where fathom line could never touch the ground, and pluck up drowned honor by the locks, but out upon this half-faced fellowship.
Farewell, kinsman. I'll talk to you when you are better tempered to attend.
Why, look you, I am whipped and scourged with rods, nettles, and stung with bismires when I hear of this vile politician Bolingbroke. In winter's time, what do you call the place where I first bowed my knee under this king of smiles, this Bolingbroke? Splud, when you and he came back from Ravensburg.
At Berkeley Castle.
Ah, you say true. Why, what a candy deal of courtesy this fawning greyhound then did proffer me. Look, gentle Harry Percy, and kind cousin. Ah, the devil take such cousins. God forgive me. Good uncle, tell your tale, for I have done.
Nay, if you have not, to it again. We will stay your leisure.
I done, i' faith.
You, my lord, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate, well beloved, the Archbishop.
York, is it not? I smell it. Upon my life it will do well, and then the powers of Scotland and of York to join with Mortimer's.
And so they shall. Brother, farewell. No further go in this than I by letter shall direct our course.
Farewell, good brother. We shall thrive, I trust.
All studies here I solemnly defy, save how to gall and pinch this Bolingbroke. And that same sword and buckler Prince of Wales. But that I think his father loves him not, and would be glad he met with some mischance. I would have him poisoned with a pot of ale.
Where's Falstaff?
Fast asleep.
And snoring like a horse.
I picked his pocket.
What is that for?
Nothing but this, my lord.
Oh, no, Hal. What time of day is it, lad?
What the devil hast thou to do with the time of day? Unless ours were cups of sack, clocks the tongues of boards, dials the signs of leaping houses, and the blessed sun himself a fair hot wench in flame-coloured taffeta, I see no reason why thou shouldst be so superfluous as to demand the time of the day.
Indeed, you come near me now, Hal, for we that take purses go by the moon. How now? Who picked me pocket? Hostess! Hostess!
Sir John!
I fell asleep here and had me pocket picked.
You think I keep thieves in my house? My lord, I pray you hear me.
Go to, I know you well enough.
I know you, Sir John.
Go to.
You owe me money, Sir John, and now you pick a quarrel with me to beguile the
This
honest.
house is turned bawdy house.
Bawdy house.
Pickpockets.
We cannot lodge and board a dozen or 14 gentlewomen who live honestly by the prick of their needles, but it's thought we keep a bawdy house.
Shall I not take mine ease in mine inn, but I shall have my pocket picked?
You owe me money, Sir John.
What didst thou lose, Jack?
Wilt thou believe me, Hal? Some 40 pounds.
What?
And a gold seal ring of my grandfather's worth some 40 mark.
You owe mine hostess money, Jack. You lost the reckoning. Item, a capon, 2 shillings and 2pence. Item sauce, 4pence. Item sack, 2 gallons, 5 shillings and 8pence.
Item anchovies and sack after supper, 2 and 6pence. Item bread, 8pence.
Oh, monstrous.
Hostess.
But what ain't any worth of
Oh, thou must not be in this humor with me. I forgive thee. Fetch me a quarter sack. Thou hast done much harm upon me, Hal. God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, Hal, I knew nothing. And now a man should speak truly little better than one of the wicked. I was as virtuously given as a gentleman need to be. Virtuous enough. Swore a little. Dice not above 7 times a week. Went to a bawdy house not above once a quarter of an hour. villainous company has been the spoil of me. If I have not forgotten what the inside of a church is made of, call me a peppercorn, a brewer's horse. Well, repent.
Where shall we take a purse tomorrow, Jack?
Where thou wilt, lad, I'll make one.
I see a good amendment of life in him, from praying to purse
It is
taking.
my vocation, Hal. It is no sin for a man to labor in his vocation.
My lads, tomorrow morning, early at Gad's Hill, there are pilgrims going to Canterbury with rich offerings, and traders riding to London with fat purses.
How wilt thou make one?
Oh, I rob, I a thief, not I by my faith.
There's neither manhood, honesty, nor good fellowship in thee. Nor comest thou not of the royal blood, if thou darest not stand for 10 shillings.
I'll tarry at home.
I'll be a traitor then when thou art king.
I care not.
Ride with us, my lord. I have a jest I cannot execute alone.
Oh, my sweet honey lord, come, ride with us tomorrow.
I'll go with thee.
We can stuff our purses full of crowns.
Well then, provide us all things necessary.
Farewell, my lord.
And meet me here in Eastcheap. Farewell.
But now, when thou art king, let not us that are squires of the night's party be called thieves of the day's beauty. Let us be Diana's foresters, gentlemen of the shade, minions of the moon, men of good government, being governed as the sea is by our noble and chaste mistress the moon, under whose countenance we steal.
I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humour of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth emit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at. If all the year were playing holiday, to sport would be as tedious as to work, but when they seldom come, they wished for come. So when this loose behavior I throw off and pay the debt, I never promise it. My reformation, glittering o'er my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eye than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so fair to make offence of skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
I prithee, sweet wag, shall there be gallows standing in England when thou art king? Do not thou, when thou art king, hang a thief.
No, thou shalt have the hanging of the thieves, and so become a rare hangman.
The purpose you undertake is dangerous. Pah! Well, it's certain. It is dangerous to take a cold, to sleep, and drink.
Harry!
But I tell you this, my lord fool, out of this nettle danger, we pluck this flower safety.
Harry?
The purpose you undertake is dangerous. The friends you have named uncertain, the time itself unsorted, and the whole plot too light. Say you so, I say unto you again, you are a shallow, cowardly hind, and you lie! By the Lord, our plot is a good plot as ever was laid. Our friends true and constant. A good plot, good friends, and full of expectation. An excellent plot, very good friend.
Leave us.
I must leave you, Kate. Oh, what a frosty-spirited rogue is this. I could be well content to be with you in the respect I love your house. He shows in this he loves his own barn better than he loves our house. What ho! That butler brought those horses from the sheriff. What horse, my lord? A roan, a crop here, is it not? It is, my lord. That roan shall be my throne. Hello, what news?
From your father.
Letters from him? Why comes he not himself?
It seems that he is grievous sick.
Zoons, how has he the leisure to be sick in such a jostling time? Ah, you will see now in very sincerity of fear and cold heart will he to the king and lay open all our proceedings. Well, hang him, let him tell the king.
For what offence have I this fortnight been? A banished woman from my husband's bed.
What ho, my lord?
In thy faint slumbers, I by thee have watched, and heard thee murmur tales of iron wars, speak terms of manage to thy bounding steed, cry courage to the field, and thou hast talked of sallies and retires, of trenches, tents, of palisadoes, frontiers, parapets, of basilisks, of cannon, culverin, of prisoners' ransom, and of soldiers. Hear you, my lord. My lord.
What sayest thou, my lady?
What is it carries you away?
Why, my horse, my love, my horse.
Out, you mad-headed ape. I'll know your business, Harry. If you go...
So far afoot, I shall be weary, love.
Faith, I'll break thy little finger, Harry, if thou wilt not tell me all things true.
Away, you trifler! Ow! Love, I love thee not. I care not for thee, Kate. This is no world to play with mammoths and to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses and crack crowns.
God's me, my horse!
Do you not love me? Do you not indeed? Nay, tell me if you speak in jest or no.
Come, wilt thou see me ride? And when I am a horseback, I will swear I love thee infinitely. But hark you, Kate. I know you wise, but yet no further wise than Harry Percy's wife. Constant, you are, but yet a woman. And for secrecy, no lady closer. For I well believe thou wilt not utter of what thou dost not know. And so far will I trust thee, gentle Kate.
How so far?
Not an inch further. But hark you, Kate, whither I go, thither shall you go too. Will this content you, Kate?
It must of force.
How long is it, Jack, since thou sawest thine own knee?
Mine own knee? There's about 5 years, Hal. I was not an eagle's. Howling in the waist. A plague of sighing and grief. It blows a man up like a bladder.
There's money of the king's coming. 'Tis gold to the king's exchequer. We may do it as secure as sleep. Shh! They come.
You four shall front them there.
We 4? How many be there of them?
Some 8 or 10.
Soon will they not rob us? Give me my horse, my masters. Every man to his business.
If they escape from your encounter, they shall light on ours.
Shelter.
8 yards of uneven ground is 3 score and 10 mile a foot with me.
I've removed Falstaff's horse.
If I go 4 foot further afoot, I shall break my wind. I'll starve ere I rob a foot further.
Peace, you fat guts. What a brawling dost thou keep? Lie down.
Lie down.
Lay thine ear close to the ground and list if thou canst hear the tread of travellers.
Have you any levers to lift me up again, big dog?
They come, they come.
I prithee, good Prince Hal, help me my horse, good king's son.
Shall I be your ostler?
Go hang thyself in thine own heir a pair of garters. Now, lads, come.
Come, neighbor. The boy shall lead our horses. We'll walk a foot a while and ease our legs.
Strike! Down with them! Cut the villain's throat! Down with them! Lace them! Find them!
Where are disguises?
Young man must live!
Come, come!
Come, my masters, let us share. The prince and points be not two arrant cowards. There's no equity stirring. There's no more valor in that poins than in a wild duck.
Your
The thieves are scattered.
Each takes his fellow for an officer.
Hooray, good Ned! Falstaff sweats to death and lards the lean earth as he walks along. But not for laughing, I should pity.
Can no man tell me of my unthrifty son? 'Tis full 3 months since I did see him last.
My liege.
Have you read all the letters that I sent you?
I have, my liege.
Then you perceive the body of our kingdom, how foul it is, what rank diseases grow.
They say young Percy and Lord Worcester are 50,000 strong. Here is Sir Walter Blunt, my lord, new lighted from his horse.
My liege, Northumberland lies sick, but a great power of English and of Scots follow young Henry Percy.
Yea, there thou makest me sad, and makes me sin in envy that my lord Northumberland should be the father to so blessed a son. A son that is the theme of honor's tongue, whilst I, in looking on the praise of him, see riot and dishonor stain the brow of my young Harry. Oh, that it could be proved that some night-tripping fairy had exchanged in cradle clothes our children where they lay. Then would I have his Harry, and he mine. Where is the Prince of Wales?
We do not know, my lord.
I would to God, my lords, he could be found. Inquire at London, mongst the taverns there. For there they say he daily doth frequent with unrestrained loose companions. Even such they say as stand in narrow lanes and beat our watch and rob our passengers, which he, young, wanton, and effeminate boy, takes on the point of honor to support so dissolute a crew.
Got with much ease. The virtue of this jest will be the incomprehensible lies this same fat rogue will tell us now. How 30 at least he fought with what wards, what blows, what extremities he endured.
A plague on all cowards. A plague on all cowards, still say I. And a vengeance, too. Give me a cup of sack.
How now, Jack? Where hast thou been?
A plague on all cowards. Go thy ways, old Jack. Die when thou wilt. If manhood, good manhood, be not forgot upon the face of the earth, then I'm a shot and herring. There lives not 3 good men unhanged in England, and one of them is fat and grows old. God help the while.
How now, woolsack?
A king's son. If I do not beat thee out of thy kingdom with the dagger of Lath, and drive all thy subjects afore thee, like a flock of wild geese, I'll never a hair at me face bore you, Prince of Wales.
Why, you horse and round man.
You fat guts.
What's the matter?
Are you not a coward? Answer that. And points there.
Call me coward, you fat pawn.
I call thee coward? See thee damned or I call thee coward. But I'd give £1,000 if I could run as fast as thou canst.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? There be 4 of us here. They've ta'en £1,000 this morning.
£1,000? Where is it?
Where is it, Jack?
Where is it? Taken from us, it is. 100 upon poor 4 of us.
What, 100 men?
I was at half sword with a dozen of them 2 hours together. I'm escaped by a miracle. I'm 8 times thrust through the doublet, 4 through the hose. My buckler cut through and through. My sword hacked like a handsaw. Ecce signum. Let them speak.
Says how
We
was it?
4 set upon some dozen.
16 at least.
And bound them. And as we were sharing, some 6 or 7 fresh men set upon us.
What, fought you with them all?
All? I know not what you call all, but if I fought not with 50 of them, then I'm a bunch of radish. If there were not 50 of them on poor old Jack, then I'm no two-legged creature.
Pray God, you have not murdered some of them.
Hey, that's past praying for. I've peppered 2 of them, too. I'm sure I paid for. 2 rogues in buckram cloaks. I tell thee what, Hal, I tell thee a lie, split me face, call me horse. Thus I bore me point. 4 rogues in buckram cloaks, let drive at me.
4? 4? Thou saidst but 2 even now.
4, Hal, I told thee 4. These 4 came all afront and mainly thrust at me. I made me no more ado, but took all 7 of their points in me target thus.
7? Why, there were but 4 even now.
In buckram?
Aye, 4 in buckram cloaks.
7 by these hilts, I'm a villain else.
Let him alone. We shall have more anon.
Dost thou hear me, Hal?
Aye, and mark thee too, Jack.
Do so, for it's worth listening to. These 9 in buckram that I told thee of...
2 more already?
...began to give me ground. I followed me close, came in foot and hand, and with a thought, 7 of the 11 I paid.
Oh, monstrous. 11 buckram men grown out of 2.
But as the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten knaves in Kendall Green came at me back and let drive at me. For it was so dark, Hal, I could not see the hand.
These lies are like their father that begets them. Why, thou clay-brained guts, thou knotty-pated fool, thou whoreson obscene, greasy tallow...
Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?
Why, how couldst thou know these men in Kendall Green, when it was so dark thou couldst not see thy hand? Come, tell us your reason. What sayest thou to
Come,
this?
your reason, Jack, your reason.
Upon compulsion, Zoons and I were at the Strapado, or all the racks of the world. I would not tell you on compulsion.
I'll be no longer guilty of this sin, this sanguine coward, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of flesh.
You starveling, you elf skin, you dried neat's tongue, you stockfish. Oh, for breath to utter what is like to thee, you tailor's yardstick, you sheath, you bowcase, you vile, standing talk.
Well, breathe a while, and then to it again. Yet hear me speak but this. We 2 saw you 4 set on 4. Mark now how a plain tale shall put you down. And, Falstaff, you carried yourself away as nimbly, with as quick dexterity, and roared for mercy, and still run and roared as ever I heard bull-calf. What a slave to hack thy sword and say it was in fight. What trick, what advice, what starting hole canst thou now find out to hide thee from this open and apparent shame?
Come, Jack, let's hear. What trick hast thou now?
By the Lord, lads, I knew you as well as he that made you. Was it for me to kill the heir apparent should I turn upon the true prince? Thou knowest I'm as valiant as Hercules, but beware instinct. The lion will not touch the true prince. I was not a coward upon instinct. By the Lord, lads, I'm glad you have the money.
My lord, the prince! There's a nobleman of the court at the door. He would speak with you.
How now, my lady hostess?
He says he comes from your father.
Give him as much as will make him a royal man, and send him back again to my mother.
What man is he?
An old man.
What does gravity out of his bed at midnight?
Shall I give him his answer?
Pretty do, Ned.
Clap to the doors, watched, and I pray tomorrow. Gallants, lads, boys, hearts of gold. What shall we be merry? Shall we have a play extempore?
A play?
Thou wilt be horribly chid when thou comes thy father in the morning and thou lovest me. Practice an answer.
Thou stand for my father.
Consent. This chair shall be my state, this cushion, my crown.
Here was Sir Thomas Bracy from your father. There's villainous news abroad. That same mad fellow of the north.
He that kills me some 6 or 7 dozen of Scots at a breakfast, washes his hands and says to his wife, "Fie upon this quiet life, I want work."
Hell, could the world pick out such an enemy again as that feed Percy in the Hotspur of the North? Doth not thy blood thrill at it? Art thou not horrible of fear?
Not a whit of faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Give me a copper sack to make the eyes look red, that it may be thought I have wept, for I must speak in a passion. Harry, I do not only marvel where thou spendst thy time, but also how thou art accompanied.
He doth it just like one of these harlotry players as ever I see.
Peace, good pint pot, peace, good tickle brain, that thou art, my son. I have partly thy mother's word, partly mine own opinion, but chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye and a foolish hanging of thy nether lip that doth warrant me. If then thou be a son to me, here lies the point. Why, being son to me, art thou so pointed at? There is a thing, Harry, which thou stirred up by the name of pitch. Pitch doth defile, so doth the company thou keepst. Oh, yes, there is a virtuous man who I've often noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of man in it, like your majesty?
A goodly portly man, if faith and a corpulent, of a cheerful look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble carriage. And as I think his age, some 50, or my lady inclining to 60. And now I remember me, his name is...
Falstaff.
If that man should be lewdly given, he to see with me. For Harry, I see virtue in his looks. Him keep with. The rest, banish.
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me? I'll play my father.
Oppose me?
Here I am set.
And here I stand.
Now, Harry, whence come you?
My lord, from the East Chief.
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Blood, my lord, they're false. They are tickle you for young prince.
There is a devil haunts thee in the likeness of an old fat man. A ton of man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humours, that bolting hutch of beastliness, that swollen parcel of dropsies, that huge bombard of sack, that stuffed cloak bag, that roasted Manningtree ox, that reverent vice, that grey iniquity, that father ruffian, that vanity in years? Wherein is he good? But to taste sack and drink it. Wherein neat and cleanly? But to carve a capon and eat it. Wherein cunning, but in craft, wherein crafty, but in villainy, wherein villainous, but in all things, wherein worthy, but in nothing.
I would your grace would take me with you. Who means your grace?
That villainous, abominable misleader of youth. That old, white-bearded Satan.
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say I know more harm in him than I know in myself is to say. More than I know that he is old, the moors, the pretty, his white hairs to witness it. But that he is, saving your reverence, an old Satan, that I utterly deny. If sack and sugar be a fault, then God help the wicked. If to be old and merry be a sin, then many an old host that I know is damned. And if to be fat is to be hated, then Pharaoh's lean kine are to be loved. Oh, my good lord. Banish Peter, banish Bardol, banish points, but for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant, being as he is old Jack Falstaff. Banish not him, thy hair is company, banish not him, thy hair is company, banish plump Jack and banish all the world.
I do. I will.
Oh, dears you, my lord, my lord.
What's the matter?
The sheriff and all the watcher at the door.
Play out the play, play out the play. I have much to say in behalf of that Falstaff.
Jack, now my master's for a true face and a good conscience.
Both of which I have had, but their date is out, therefore I'll hide me.
Now, Master Sheriff, what is your will with me?
Pardon me, my lord. A hue and cry hath followed certain men into this house.
What men?
One of them is well known, my gracious lord, a gross, fat man.
As fat as butter. The man, I do assure you, is not here. And so let me entreat you, leave the house.
I will, my lord. There are two gentlemen having this robbery lost 300 marks.
If you have robbed these men, he shall be answerable. And so farewell.
Good night, my noble lord.
I'll to the court in the morning. We must all to the wars.
Good night, my noble lord.
I think it be good morrow, is it not?
Indeed, my lord. I think it be 2 o'clock.
We must all to the wars, eh, lad?
Hostess, my breakfast.
You owe me money, Sir John. And money lent you, £420.
Oh, you thing.
What thing? I am no thing. I am an honest man's wife, and setting thy knighthood aside, thou art a knave to call me so.
Setting thy womanhood aside, thou art a beast to say otherwise.
Say what beast, thou knave thou?
What beast? Why, an otter.
Otter, Sir John? Why an otter?
Oh, she's neither fish nor flesh. A man knows not where to have her.
Oh, thou art an unjust man for saying so. Thou or any man knows where to have me. Thou knave, thou.
Thou sayest true, hostess, and he slanders thee most grossly.
So he doth you, my lord, and said you owed him £1,000.
Jack, do I owe thee £1,000?
£1,000, hell, £1,000,000. Thy love is worth £1,000,000. Thou owest me thy love.
Well, my sweet beef, I must still be good angel to thee.
My lord, he called you a jack and a sneak cup, and said he would cudgel you.
Darest thou be as good as thy word now?
Well, how as a man I dare, but as a prince, I fear thee as I fear the roaring of a lion's whelp.
And why not as the lion?
The king himself is to be feared as the lion. Dost thou think that I'll fear thee as I fear thy father?
The money shall be paid back again, with advantage.
I like not that paying back. 'Tis a double labor.
Thou wholesome little tidy
Now,
Bartholomew
doll.
Bake. Come, I'll be friends with thee, Jack. Thou art going to the wars, and whether I shall ever see thee again or not, there's nobody cares.
Farewell, long Jack. Farewell, all hallowed summer.
Percy, Northumberland, the Archbishop's Grace of York, Douglas, Mortimer, capitulate against us and are up. But wherefore do I tell this news to thee? Thou that art like enough, through vassal fear, base inclination, and the start of spleen, to fight against me under Percy's pay, to dog his heels and curtsy at his frowns, to show how much thou art degenerate. Lords, give us leave. The Prince of Wales and I must have some needful conference alone. I know not whether God will have it so, that in his secret doom, out of my blood, he'll breed revengement and a scourge for me to punish my mistreadings. Tell me else, could such inordinate and low desires, such barren pleasures, rude society, accompany the greatness of thy blood?
So please your majesty.
Had I so lavish of my presence been, so stale and cheap to vulgar company, opinion that did help me to the crown had left me in reputeless banishment. The skipping king, he ambled up and down with shallow jesters and rash babbing wits, mingled his royalty with capering fools, grew a companion to the common streets. So when he had occasion to be seen, he was but as the cuckoo is in June, heard, not regarded, seen but with such eyes, as sick and blunted with community, afford no extraordinary gaze, such as is bent on sun-like majesty. And in that very line, Harry, standst thou. For thou hast lost thy princely privilege with vile participation. Not an eye but is aweary of thy common sight, save mine that hath desired to see thee more.
I shall hereafter, my thrice gracious lord, be more myself.
Harry, for all the world, as thou art to this hour, was Richard then, when I from France set foot at Ravensburg. And even as I was then, is Percy now. Now by my sceptre and my soul to boot, he hath more worthy interest to the state than thou.
Do not think so. You shall not find it so. I will redeem all this on Percy's head, and in the closing of some glorious day be bold to tell you that I am your son. And that shall be the day when ere it lights, that this same child of honor and renown, this gallant Hotspur, this all-praised knight, and your unthought of Harry chance to meet. Then will I make this northern youth exchange his glorious deeds for my indignities. This in the name of God. I promise here.
The Earl of Westmoreland sets forth today. On Wednesday next, Harry, you shall set forth. Our hands are full of business. Let's away.
Pish for thee, thou prick-eared cur of Esland.
We must come all together. Why the devil should we keep knives to cut one another's throats?
O vapour vile, no pistols cocketh up, and flashing fire will follow.
There's no pay me the 8 shillings I won of you at betting.
Base is the slave that pays.
Shag off!
What's he that goes there?
Falstaff, and please, your lordship.
He that is in question for the robbery?
Jack!
My Lord Chief Justice? I heard say your lordship was sick. I hope your lordship goes abroad by advice. Your lordship do not keep past his youth and yet some smack of age in him, some relish of the saltness of time. And I most humbly beseech your lordship to have a reverent care of your health. Oh, my Lord Westmoreland, I heard say your lordship had already been at Shrewsbury.
'Tis more than time I were there, and you too.
King encamped?
He is, Sir John. I fear we shall all stay too long.
Sir John, methinks your soldiers are exceeding poor and bare.
No eye hath seen such scarecrows.
If I'm not ashamed of his soldiers, I must souse-gird it. I've misused the king's press damnably. I press me none but good householders. They've bought out their services. Now my whole charge consists of younger sons to younger brothers, revolted tapsters and ostlers, tradeful, and the cankers of a calm world and a long peace.
We must away all night, Falstaff.
The king, I can tell you, looks for us all.
Goes the prince with you?
The prince, you follow him up and down like his ill angel.
Falstaff, you have misled the youthful prince.
The young prince has misled me.
The truth is you live in great infamy. Your means are very slender, and your waist is great.
I would it were otherwise. I would. My means were greater and my waist slender.
There's not a white hair on your face, but should have his effect on gravity.
His effect on gravy. My lords, you that are old consider not the capacities of us that are young.
Falstaff.
You do measure the heat of our livers with the bitterness of your
Do
gall.
you set down your name in the scroll of youth?
You that are written down old with all the characters of age.
Have you not a moist eye, a dry hand, a yellow cheek,
a white beard,
a decreasing leg,
increasing belly?
Is not your voice broken, your wind short,
your chin double,
your wit single,
and every part about you blasted with antiquity? And will you yet call yourself young?
My lord, I was born about 3 o'clock in the afternoon with a white head and something around belly. For my voice, I've lost it with hallowing and singing of anthems.
Sir John, you loiter here too long. Being as we're to take more soldiers in counties as we go.
On, Corporal Nim.
Well, be honest, and God bless your
Will your
expedition.
grace lend me £1,000 to furnish me forth?
Not a penny, fare you well.
My lord?
Not a penny.
Bardo, go to the fort, fetch me a bottle of sack.
Will you give me money, Captain? Well, God send the prince a better companion.
God send the companion a better prince.
How now? The Earl of Westmoreland, 7,000 strong, is marching hitherwards.
With him, Prince John.
No harm, what more? Further we have learned. The king himself in person is set forth.
He shall be welcome too. Where is his son, the nimble-footed madcap Prince of Wales, and his comrades that daft the world aside and bid it pass?
All furnished, all in arms. For God's sake, cousin, stay till all come in.
Oh, gentlemen, the time of life is short. To spend that shortness basely were too long if life did ride upon a dial's point, still ending at the arrival of an hour. And if we live to tread on kings. If die, brave death when princes die with us.
Justice Shallow? I am Robert Shallow, sir, a poor esquire of this county, and one of the king's justices of the peace.
My captain commends him to you. My captain, sir, Sir John Falstaff, a tall gentleman by heaven, and a most gallant leader.
He greets me well, sir. He greets me well, sir. Davy?
Please come hither. Let me see. Where's the roll?
The soldiers. Use his men well, Davy, for they are arrant knaves and will backbite.
No worse than they are backbitten, sir, for they have marvellous foul linen.
Oh, well conceited, Davy. Look, here comes Sir John. About thy business, Davy. Give me your good hand. Give me your worship's good hand. Welcome, good Sir John.
Good Master Robert Shallow. Glad to see you well. For God, you have here a goodly dwelling and a rich...
Baron. Nay, you shall see my orchard, where in an arbor we will eat a last year's pippin of my own grafting, with a dish of caraways.
Have you provided me here with a half a dozen sufficient men?
We have, sir. Come, sir, will you sit? Let me see. Where's the roll? Davy!
Robert Shallow. I remember him at Clement's Inn. Like a man made after supper of a cheese paring. When it was naked, he was for all the world like a forked radish with a head fantastically carved upon it with a knife. Was a very genius of famine, yet lecherous as a monkey. And now as this vice his dagger become a squire. And has lands and beefs. Well, I'll be acquainted with him.
I will use him well, Davy, for a friend in the court is better than a penny in the purse. Let me see. Let them appear as you call, cousin.
Master Surecard, as I think.
Silence! Oh, Sir John, it is my cousin Silence in commission with me.
Master Silence, well befits you should be of the peace.
The same, Sir John, the very same.
Your good worship is...
I see him break Scogan's head at the court gate, when was a crack not thus high. And the very same day did I fight with one Samson Stockfish, a fruiterer, behind Gray's Inn. Oh, Jesu, the man knaves that I have seen.
Master Silence, let me see your men, Master Silence.
Let them appear as you call, cousin. Let them do so. Mouldy.
Mouldy?
Aye, sir.
'Tis the more time thou wert used.
Things that are mouldy lack use. Eh, Sir John?
Prick him.
You could have let me alone.
Oh, prick him.
My old dame will be undone now for one to do her husband in a drudgery.
Prick him.
Prick him.
Oh, prick him.
Prick him.
Thomas what?
Yes, sir. There are other men fitter to go than I.
Stand aside, Mouldy. Shall I prick what, sir?
It was superfluous. The whole frame stands upon frames. Prick him no more. Who's next?
Simon Shadow.
Shadow? Let me have him to sit under.
You can do it, sir. You can do it.
Prick him. Who's next?
Francis Feeble.
What trade art thou, Feeble?
A woman's tailor, sir.
Wilt thou make as many holes in an enemy's battle as thou'st done in a woman's petticoat?
I will do my goodwill, sir. You can have no more.
Well said, good woman's tailor. Well said, courageous Feeble. Thou wilt be as valiant as the wrathful dove or most magnanimous mouse. Prick me the woman's tailor well, Master Silence. Deep, Master Silence. Who's next?
Peter Mulcaff of the Green.
Oh, Lord, good my Lord. What, dost thou roar before thou art pricked?
Oh, Lord, sir, I am a diseased man.
What disease hast thou?
A cold, sir. A cough, sir, which I caught with ringing in the king's affairs upon his coronation day.
We will have away thy cold, and I will give such orders thy friends shall ring for thee. Prick him. Is here all?
Here is more cold than your number, sir.
Master Corporate Captain, sir.
Go to.
Iron as leaf be hanged, sir. Let's go to the wars.
Good master, Captain.
4 Harry, 10 shillings, French crowns.
Outside.
You shall have 40, sir, for my old dame's sake. She has nobody to do anything about her when I'm gone, and she is old and cannot help herself.
Stand aside.
Let it go which way it will. He that dies this year is quit of the next.
Sir, a word with you. I have £3 to free Mouldy and Bullcalf.
Mouldy, stay at home to your past service. Bullcalf, grow till you come into it out of you.
They are your likeliest men.
Will you tell me, Master Cello, how to choose a man? Now, here's Wart. I shall charge you or discharge you with the motion of a pewter's hammer. And this same half-faced fellow...
Shadow.
Give me this fellow. He presents no mark to the enemy. And for a retreat, how swiftly will this woman's tailor run off? Give me the spare men and spare me the great ones. Fare you well, gentlemen. I thank you.
John, Keith.
Farewell. Father, give the soldiers coats. Child, there's no matter. They'll find linen enough on every head.
Sir John.
Farewell, Master Cello.
The Lord bless you. God prosper your affairs. God send us peace.
Ah, now, my Lord of Worcester, 'tis not well that you and I should meet upon such terms. You have deceived our trust and made us doff our easy robes of peace to crush our old limbs in ungentle steel. This is not well, my lord.
My liege, I do protest. I have not sought the day of this dislike.
You have not sought it, sir. How comes it then?
Rebellion lay in his way, and he found it.
Peace to it, peace.
Go tell your nephew, the Prince of Wales doth join with all the world in praise of Henry Percy. I do not think a braver gentleman, more daring or more bold, is now alive. For my part, I may speak it to my shame, I have a truant been to chivalry. But yet, before my father's majesty, I will, to save the blood on either side, try fortune with him in a single fight.
No, we love our people well, even those we love that are misled upon your cousin's part. And will they take the offer of our grace? Both he and they and you, yea, every man shall be my friend again, and I'll be his. We offer fair. Take it advisedly.
It will not be accepted on my life.
Then God befriend us, as our cause is just.
Let not Harry know in any case the offer of the king.
Uncle, what news? There is no seeming mercy in the king. He calls us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arms this hateful name in us. Arm with speed!
And fellows, soldiers, friends, let each man do his best. And here draw I a sword whose temper I intend to stain with the best blood that I can meet withal.
The Prince of Wales stepped forth before the king, and nephew challenged you to single fight.
Now, by my soul, I would that the quarrel lay upon our heads, and that no man might draw short breath today, but I and Harry Monmouth.
I would to a bedtime, Hal, and all well.
Why, thou owest God a death.
'Tis not due yet. I'll be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with him that calls not on me? Well, no matter. Honor pricks me on.
Yeah, but how if honor
prick me off when I come on her then. Can honor set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. Honor hath no skill in surgery then? No. What is honor? Here. A trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday. Doth he feel it? No. 'Tis insensible and yea to the dead. But will it not live with the living? No. Why? Detraction will not suffer it. Therefore I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon. And so ends my catechism.
Come, let me taste my horse, that is to bear me like a thunderbolt against the bosom of the Prince of Wales. Harry to Harry shall, hot horse to horse, meet and ne'er part, till one drop down a course.
leave to breathe a while. Not Gregory never did such deeds as I have done this day. I have made Percy. I have made him sure.
He is indeed, and living to kill thee.
If I mistake not, thou art Harry Monmouth.
Thou speakst as if I would deny my name.
My name is Harry Percy.
2 stars keep not their motion in one sphere, nor can one England brook a double reign of Harry Percy and the Prince of Wales.
Nor shall it, Harry, for the hour is come to end the one of us.
Thou hast robbed me of my youth. I better brook the loss of brittle life than these proud titles thou hast won of me. They wound my thoughts worse than thy sword my flesh, but thought's the slave of life, and life time's fool, and time that makes survey of all the world must have a stop. Oh, I could prophesy. The uncold hand of death lies on my tongue. No, Percy, thou art dust and food for worms, brave Percy, fare thee well, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk, when that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom, for it was too small a bound. But now 2 paces of the vilest earth is room enough. This earth that bears thee dead bears not alive so stout a gentleman. Adieu. What old acquaintance? Could not all this flesh keep in a little life? Oh, Jack, farewell. I could have better spared a better man. Embowelled will I see thee by and by.
Pound me to death, you will leave to powder me and eat me tomorrow.
It's time to counterfeit. The better part of valor is discretion, in the which part I have saved my life.
Shoot! This gunpowder Percy. I swear I killed him.
The trumpet sounds retreat! The day is ours!
Thus ever did rebellion find rebuke. Ill-spirited Worcester, did we not send grace, pardon, and terms of love to all of you?
What I have done, my safety urged me to.
Bear Worcester to the death. Other offenders, we will pause upon.
Brother, let us to the highest of the field to see what friends are living, who are dead.
There's your Percy. If your father will do me any honor, so if not, let him kill the next Percy himself.
Why, Percy I killed.
Is so?
And saw thee dead.
Lord, how this world is given to lying. I grant you I was down and out of breath, and so was he, but we rose both at an instant and fought a long hour by Shrewsbury clock. I look to be either Earl or Duke, I assure you.
Rebellion in this land shall lose its sway, meeting the check of such another day.
Falstaff, you are going with Prince John of Lancaster against Northumberland.
There's not a dangerous action could peep out his head, but I'm thrust upon it. Well, I cannot last ever. But it was always the trick of our English nation is to have a good thing to make it too common.
Well, Falstaff, the king hath severed you and Prince Harry.
Yes, I thank your pretty wit for it. Prince John of Lancaster, good fate. This same sober-blooded boy does not love me, nor a man cannot make him laugh. But that's no marvel. He drinks no wine. There's never any of these demure boys come to any proof, for thin drink does so overcool their blood that they're generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. A good sherry sack hath a twofold operation in it. It ascends me into the brain and dries me there all the foolish, dull and cruddy vapors which environ it. Makes it apprehensive, quick, forgettive, full of nimble, fiery and delectable shapes, which delivered o'er to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sherris is the warming of the blood. The sherris warms it and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extreme. And hereof comes it that Prince Harry is valiant. For the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father. He hath, like lean, sterile, bare land, manured, husbanded, and tilled with excellent endeavor of drinking good store of fertile sherris, that he has become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first humane principle I would teach them would be this, to forswear thin potations, and to addict themselves to sack.
From the first, King Henry's reign was troubled with rebellion. But in the year of our Lord, 1408, the last of his enemies had been vanquished. The king held his Christmas this year at London, being sore vexed with sickness.
Many good morrows to your majesty.
Is it good morrow, lords?
'Tis 1 o'clock and past.
Why then good morrow to you all, my lords. The Prince of Wales.
My lord?
Where is he? Is he not with his brother, John of Lancaster?
No, my good lord. He is in presence here.
Please at your grace to go to bed. Your majesty has been this fortnight ill, and these unseasoned hours perforce must add unto your sickness.
What would my lord and father?
Why art thou not at Windsor with the prince?
He is not there today. He dines in London.
And how accompanied? Canst thou tell me that?
With Poins, and other his continual followers.
Most subject is the fattest soil to weeds. And he, the noble image of my youth, is overspread with them. Therefore my grief stretches itself beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart when I do shape in forms imaginary the unguided days and rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors.
My gracious lord, you look beyond him quite. The Prince of Wales will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers.
'Tis seldom when the bee doth leave her comb in the dead carrion.
Be patient, lords. You do know these fits are with his highness very ordinary.
No, no. He cannot long hold out these pangs. The incessant care and labor of his mind hath wrought the mure that should confine it in so thin that life looks through and will break out.
The crown. Set me the crown upon my pillow here. Let there be no noise, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favorable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for the music in the other room.
The people fear me, for they do observe unfathered airs and loathly births of nature. The seasons change their manners, as the year had found some months asleep and leaped them over.
The river hath thrice flowed, no ebb between. And the old folk, time's doting chronicles, say it did so a little time before that our great grandsire Edward sicked and died.
How many thousands of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep, oh, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse. How have I frighted thee that thou no more wilt weigh mine eyelids down and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why rather sleep liest thou in smoky cribs, upon uneasy pallets stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, and in the perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sounds of sweetest melody. O thou dull god, why liest thou with the vile in loathsome beds, and leav'st the kingly couch a watch case or a common larum bell? Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast seal up the ship-boy's eyes, and rock his brain in cradle of the rude imperious surge, and in the visitation of the winds which take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them with deafening clamor in the slippery shrouds, that with a hurly death itself awaits? But thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king. Then, happy low, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown.
Before God, I am exceeding weary.
It's come to that. I had thought weariness durst not have attached itself to one of so high blood.
Faith, it does me, though it discolors the complexion of my greatness to acknowledge it.
God save your grace.
Yours, most noble Dardo. How doth thy master?
In bodily health, sir.
John Falstaff, knight. To the son of the king, nearest his father, Harry, Prince of Wales, greeting. Be not too familiar with... You allow this wench to be as familiar with me as your dog.
Be not too familiar with Poins, for he misuses thy favors so much that he swears thou art to marry
My lord, I'll steep this letter in sack and make him eat it.
Repent at idle times as thou mayest, and so farewell, thine by yea and no, which is as much as to say as thou usest him, Jack Falstaff with my familiars, John with my brothers and sisters, and Sir John with all Europe. Is he in London?
Yes, sir, with Mistress Dalteshi.
Shall we steal upon them, Ned, at supper? You, boy, and Bardolph, no word to your master that I'm yet come to town. There's for your silence.
I have no tongue, sir.
And for mine, sir, I will govern it.
Doth it now show very vilely in me to desire small beer?
Tell me, how many good young princes would do so, their fathers being so sick as yours at this time is?
What disgrace is it for me to remember thy name or to know thy face tomorrow? Do you use me thus, Ned? Must I marry your sister?
God send the wench no worse fortune, but I never said so.
Come, Ned.
I am your shadow, my lord. I follow you.
I'm as melancholy as a jib cat or a lugged bear.
Sir John, you're so fretful you cannot live long.
Why, there it is. I'll tell you what I am about.
2 yards and more.
Indeed, I am in the waist, 2 yards about. But I'm now about no waist, I'm about thrift. I must turn away some of his followers. There's no remedy.
I will employ Bardolph. He shall draw here for me.
A tapster's a good trade. Lads, I'm almost out at heels. Hello, doll.
Is that all the comfort you give me?
Who knocks so loud at door?
Fat muddy rascal.
You make fat rascals, doll.
I make them. Gluttony and diseases make them.
If the cook helped to make the gluttony, you help to make the diseases. We catch of you. Oh, we catch of you. For to serve bravely is to come holding off. You know, to come off the breach with his pike bent bravely, and to surgery bravely, to venture upon the charge chambers bravely.
You muddy conger. Hang
You
yourself.
two never meet, but you fall to some discord. You are both, in good truth, as rheumatic as two dry toasts. Faith, sweetheart, you've drunk too much canaries. How do you now?
Better than I was.
Oh, why, that's well said. A good heart's better than gold.
Oh.
What the good year? One must bear, and that must be you.
Sir, it's Pistol. He'd speak with you.
Pistol! The foulest mouth rogue in England. Hang him, swaggering rascal.
Swagger?
Empty the Jordan.
If he swagger, let him not come here.
He's no swaggerer, hostess.
Hey, cheater, you may stroke him as gentle as a puppy greyhound. Pistol!
God save you, Sir John!
Pistol, I charge you with a copper sack. You discharge upon mine host.
I will discharge upon her, Sir John, with 2 bullets.
Oh, she's pistol-proof, sir. You shall hardly offend her.
Then to you, Mistress Dorothy, I will charge you.
Charge me, you filthy bung.
In my rapier, Bardolph.
I'll thrust my knife in your mouldy chaps and you play the saucy couple with me.
Let me not live without bearing your wrath to this.
Pistol, I would not have you go off here.
Not here, sweet captain.
Captain?
Lady, go down, go
You a captain? For what? For tearing a poor horse rock in a baldy house?
Shall honor counter change of Asia compare with Caesars and with cannibals and with Trojan Greeks?
Come.
No! Nay!
Get out!
What shall be in sitting shall be in you, where then the king is ghastly, keep the wounds, and claim the sisters free. Now that you what I say.
not hurt at the groin? I thought he made a shrewd thrust at your belly.
A rascal slave.
Oh, you sweet little rogue.
A rascal bragging.
You wholesome little valiant villain, you. Poor ape, how are you sweating?
The rogue fled from me like quicksilver.
Come, let me wipe thy face. Come on, you wholesome chops. Oh, roguey faith, I love thee.
I'll toss the rogue in a blanket.
Do and thou darest for thy heart, and thou dost I'll canvas thee between a pair of sheets.
The music is come, sir.
Let him play. Play, sirs. What stuff will have a curtain of? I shall receive money Thursday. To have a cap tomorrow. Come, sing me a bawdy song to make me merry. Don't forget me when I'm gone.
You stop me weeping if you say so.
Kiss me, doll.
Is it not strange that desire should so many years outlive performance?
Thou dost give me flattering verses.
I kiss thee with the most constant heart.
I am old. I am old.
I love thee better than I love ever scurvy young boy of them all. Jack. What humour's the prince made of?
Prince of Wales? A good shallow young fellow.
This knave have his ears cut off.
They say Poins has a good wit.
Poins? A good wit.
Let's beat him before his horn.
The prince himself is such another. The weight of a hair will not turn the scale between their avid poise. Oh, bastard son of the king. And thou art not Poins, his brother.
My lord, he'll drive you out of your revenge if you take not the heat.
Water, hod's pudding, a bag of flax.
No abuse, Hal.
Old, cold, withered, and of intolerable entrails.
Indeed, the rascally, sweet young prince.
How vilely did you speak of me even now before this honest, virtuous, civil gentlewoman?
Why, Hal, I did not think that was within hearing.
Yea, and you knew me as you did when you ran away at the robbery. You spoke it on purpose to try my patience.
I dispraise thee before the wicked, that the wicked might not fall in love with thee, for which thy father is to thank me.
See now, whether pure and entire cowardice doth not make thee wrong this virtuous gentlewoman. Is she of the wicked?
Is thine hostess of the wicked, or honest Bardolph, whose zeal burns in his nose of the wicked?
The fiend hath pricked down Bardolph irrecoverable. For the women, one of them is in hell already, and burns poor souls. For the other, I owe her money, and whether she be damned for that, I know not. But how? Am I not fallen away vilely when my skin hangs about me like an old lady's loose gown? Sirrah, you, giant, what says the doctor to my water?
He said, sir, the water itself was a good water, but for the party who owned it, he might have more diseases than he knew of.
Men of all sorts take a pride to gird at me. The brain of this foolish compounded clay man is not able to invent anything that tends to laughter more than I invent, or is invented on me. I'm not only witty in myself, but the cause that wit is in other men.
I feel me much to blame, so idly to profane the precious time. I tell thee, my heart bleeds inwardly. My father is so sick. Shall I tell thee one thing, Poins?
And let it be an excellent, good thing.
It shall serve among wits of no higher breeding than thine.
Go to. I shall stand the push of your one thing that you shall tell.
I could tell thee, as to one for fault of a better, it pleases me to call friend. I could be sad, and sad indeed, too.
Very hardly upon such a subject.
Thou think'st me as far in the devil's book as thou and Falstaff.
An old lord of the council rated me the other day in the street about sooth, sir, as I marked him not, yet he talked very wisely. And in the street, too.
Thou didst well, for wisdom cries out in the street, and no man regards it.
It is certain that either wise bearing or ignorant carriage is caught, as men take diseases of one another.
Ned?
Yes, my lord?
Let men take heed to their company.
What wouldst thou think of me if I should weep?
I would think thee a most princely hypocrite.
I have forsworn his company, owl any time this 22 years.
Every man would think me a hypocrite indeed.
Bewitched with the rogues' company. If the rascal has not given me medicines to make me love him, I'll be hanged.
At the end, try the man.
If there's not me else, I've drunk medicines.
My lord!
Of this gout or a gout of this pox. One or the other plays the rogue with me great toe. Well, 'tis no matter. I have the wars for me colour. Hey, lad? My pension shall seem the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I shall turn diseases to commodity.
Falstaff! Good night!
Now comes in the sweetest morsel of the night. We must dance and leave it unpicked. Come, boy. We'll through Gloucestershire to visit Master Robert Shallow, Esquire. I have him already tempering between my finger and my thumb. Shortly will I seal with him.
When wilt thou leave fighting a days and foining a nights and begin to patch up thy old body for heaven?
Peace, doll. Do not speak like a death scene. Do not bid me remember mine end. Farewell, doll.
Well, sweet Jack,
Farewell.
have a care of thyself.
Who saw the Duke of Lancaster?
I am here, brother. Full of heaviness.
How now? Rain within doors and none abroad? How doth the king?
Exceeding ill.
Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Oh, Majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armor worn in heat of day that scalds with safety.
My gracious lord. My father. This is a sleep that from this golden recall hath divorced so many English kings. Thy due from me is tears and heavy sorrows of the blood which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall, O dear Father, pay thee plenteously. My due from thee is this imperial crown, which God shall guard and put the world's whole strength into one giant arm, it shall not force this lineal honor from me.
Silence, that thou hast seen that this night and I have seen. Sir John, said I well?
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Master Robert Sherlock.
That we have. In faith, Sir John, we have. Jesu, the mad days that I have seen. And to think how many of my old acquaintances are dead.
We shall all...
Certain, 'tis certain. Death, as the psalmist saith, is certain to all. All shall die. How a good yoke of bullocks at Stamford Fair?
A good yoke of death, it said.
And is old Double of your town living yet? Dead? Jesu, dead. A draw good bow, and dead. A shot a fine shoot, John a good, loved him well, and betted much money on his head. Dead.
Dead.
How a score of yous now?
A score of good...
And his old Double dead.
My lords. Lancaster. Westmoreland.
Dr. Kingford, what would your majesty?
Why did you leave me here alone?
We left the prince, my brother, here, my liege.
The Prince of Wales? He is not here.
He undertook to sit and watch by you.
Where is the crown? Who took it from my pillow? What, couldst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone and dig my grave thyself, and let the merry bells ring to thine ear, that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Pluck down mine officers, break my decrees, and now a time is come to mock at form. Harry the Fifth is crowned. Up vanity, down royal state. All you sage counsellors hence, and to the English court assembled now from every region, apes of idleness. You neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins, the newest kind of ways? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall give him office, honour, might, but the fifth Harry from curbed license plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth in every innocent.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was father, Harry, to that thought. I stayed too long by thee, I weary thee.
Oh, pardon me, my liege.
But wherefore did you take away the crown?
God witness with me when I found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. Thinking you dead, I spake unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other less fine in carat art more precious, but thou, most fine, most honoured, most renowned, hast left thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father, the quarrel of a true inheritor.
O my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst win the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. God knows, my son, by what bypaths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown. For all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument. But now my death changes the mood, for what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort. Yet though thou standst more firm than I could do, thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green. And all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their stings and teeth newly ta'en out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I well might lodge a fear to be again displaced. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action hence born out may waste the memory of the former days. But my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, oh, God forgive, and grant it may with thee in true peace live.
How doth the king?
He lives no more.
God save your majesty.
You all look strangely on me. I shall convert those tears by number into hours of happiness.
We hope no other from your majesty.
The tide of blood in me hath proudly flowed in vanity till now. Now doth it turn and ebb back to the sea, where it shall mingle with the state of floods and flow henceforth in formal majesty. Now call we our High Parliament.
I was once of Clement's Inn, where I think they will talk a mad shallow yet.
You were called lusty shallow then.
By the mass, it was called anything, and I would have done anything. And roundlet, too. Then was Jack Falstaff a boy. Now Sir John, and page to Thomas Mobley, Duke of Norfolk. Sir John? Oh, by the mass, I've had so much sack.
We shall be merry now. Now comes in the sweet of the night.
Davy! Oh, Jesus, the days that I have seen.
Lord, how subject we old men are to this vice of lying. This same starved justice has done nothing but prate to me of the wildness of his youth, and every third word a lie.
Sir John!
I come, Master Shallow. I come. I will devise matter enough out of this Shallow to keep Prince Harry in continual laughter for the wearing out of 6 passions. You shall see him laugh.
Sir, your worship, there's one pistol come from the court with news.
From the court?
Sir John! I had my pistol and my friend, and there's a skeleton have I known to thee, and tidings do I bring, and lucky joys, and golden times, and happy news of price.
Pistol, what wind blew you hither?
Not the ill wind that blows no man to good. Sweet night! Thou art now one of the greatest men in the realm.
Give me pardon, sir. If, sir, you come with news from the court, I am, sir, under the king in some authority.
Under which king, Bissonian, speak or die?
Under King Harry.
Harry the 4th or 5th? Harry the Fourth, a footler for thine office. Sir John, my tender lambkin, now is king. Harry the Fifth's the man.
What is the old king dead?
As nail in door.
Away. Saddle my horse. I know the young king is sick for me. Master Shallow, choose what office thou wilt in the land. 'Tis thine. Pistol, I will double charge thee with dignities. Master Silence, my lord, silence be what thou wilt. I am fortune's steward. Come, Pistol, utter more to me, and with all devise something to thyself good. Let us take any man's horses. The laws of England are at my commandment. Blessed are they that have been my friends, and woe to my Lord Chief Justice.
There roared the sea, a trumpet clangor sounds.
Shallow, I will make the king do you grace. I will leer upon him as it comes by, and you but mark the countenance he will give me. Oh, that I'd had time to have made you liveries. I'd have bestowed the £1,000 I borrowed of you. 'Tis no matter. This poor showeth better. This does confer the zeal I had to see him.
It does so.
It shows my earnestness of affection.
It does so.
The devotion.
It does.
Yes, 'twere to ride day and night, and not to deliberate, not to remember, not to have patience to ship me, but to stand, dazed with travel and sweating with desire to see him, thinking of nothing else, putting all affairs else in oblivion, as if there were nothing else to be done but to see him. To thee, my heart.
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hairs become a fool and jester. I have long dreamed of such a kind of man, so surfeit-swelled, so old, and so profane. But being awaked, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. Know the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Apply not to me with a fool-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was. For God doth know, so shall the world perceive, that I have turned away my former self. So will I those that kept me company. When thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then, I banish thee on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 miles. For competence of life, I will allow you, but lack of means enforce you not to evil. And as we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to your strength and qualities, give you advancement.
Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of our word.
Master Shallow, I owe you £1,000.
Yes, Sir John, which I beseech you to let me have home with me.
That can hardly be, Master Shallow. Do not you grieve at this. Look you, he must seem thus to the world. I shall be sent for in private to him. Fear not your advancement. I shall be the man yet. I shall make you great.
I cannot well perceive how, unless you should give me your doublet and stuff me out with straw. I beseech you, Sir John, let me have 500 of my 1,000.
Sir, I will be as good as my word. This that you have seen was but a color.
A color that I fear you will die in.
Fear no colors. Come, go with me to dinner. I shall be sent for soon. At night.
I like this fair proceeding of the king's.
But all are banished.
Until their conversations appear more wise and modest to the world.
He hath intent his wonted followers shall all be very well provided for.
Thou damned tri-visaged rascal! Jack! Jack Falstaff!
Go, carry Sir John Falstaff to the fleet.
The fleet?
Come quickly! You must come to my master! Oh, poor heart, sweet man, come to him. He is very sick.
The king is a good king, but it must be as it may.
Now, lords, for France, we doubt not of a fair and lucky war. Then forth, dear countrymen!
The signs of war advance! No king of England, if not king of France!
My Lord Chief Justice, enlarge the man committed yesterday.
Falstaff?
Let him be punished, sovereign. Lest example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind.
If little faults proceeding on distemper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eye when capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appear before us? We consider it was excess of wine that set him on.
Falstaff?
Falstaff is dead.
The king has killed his heart.
Would I were with him where some Mary is, either in heaven or in hell.
He sure is not in hell. He's in Arthur's bosom, if ever a man went to Arthur's bosom. They made a finer end, and went away, and it had been any Christian child. apparted even just between 12 and 1, even at the turning of the tide. For after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers and smile upon his fingers' ends, I knew there was but one way. For his nose was as sharp as a pen, and he babbled the green fields. How now, Sir John, quoth I, what man be of good cheer? So I cried out, God, 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 3 or 4 times. Now I, to comfort him, bid him he should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble himself with any such thoughts yet. So I bade me lay more clothes on his feet. I put my hand into the bed and felt them, and they were as cold as any stone. Then I felt to his knees, and they were cold as any stone. And so upward and upward, and all was cold as any stone.
I cried out of sack.
And of women.
Nay, that I did not.
He said once the devil would have him about women.
He did, in some sort indeed, handle women.
You not remember? I saw a flea once dig up on Bardolph's nose, and I said it was a black soul burning in hellfire.
The fuel is gone that maintain that fire. That's all the riches I got in his service.
The new king, even at first appointing, determined to put on him the shape of a new man. This Henry was a captain of such prudence and such policy that he never enterprised anything before he had forecast the main chances that it might happen. So humane withal, he left no offense unpunished, nor friendship unrewarded. For conclusion, a majesty was he that both lived and died, a pattern in princehood, a lodestar in honor, and famous to the world always.